We'll start with that win for Socialist Democrat Zoran Mamdani as the new mayor of New York. His campaign, promising to increase the wealth tax and make New York more affordable for all, prompted the city's biggest voter turnout in decades.
In this moment of political darkness, New York will be the light. Here, we believe in standing up for those we love. Whether you are an immigrant, a member of the trans community, one of the many black women that Donald Trump has fired from a federal job, a single mom still waiting for the cost of groceries to go down, or anyone else with their back against the wall, your struggle is ours too.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump, to say the least, is not a fan, calling Mamdani a communist. Some of the top, more moderate Democrats in the U.S. were also more reluctant to publicly endorse him before the win. We're going to talk about all of this now with Philip Turle, who joins me on the set. Philip, here we have this decisive victory for Zoran Mamdani in New York. Last night also saw Democratic wins in Virginia, in New Jersey. How serious a reversal of fortune is this for the Republicans?
I think this is the sign that not everything is well on the Trump side and in the Republican Party. And I think one has to be measured in the response to what we've seen over the past few hours in the United States. But certainly this is a major setback for Donald Trump, a major vote shift in the United States. But there again, we've seen the election of this Democratic mayor in New York, but it's a Democratic stronghold. So I think the most remarkable thing here is the rise of Zoran Mamdani, who about a year ago was basically unknown. He had a 1% polling approval rating. And if anybody had said to him, do you think one day you could be mayor of New York? I think no one would have bet on that at all. So this has been a remarkable rise to stardom for him over the past year. He's gone on a very socialist, populist agenda, basically saying he was going to give money back to the workers of New York, those who got their hands dirty. He's an anti-billionaire person wanting to turn his back on people like Giuliani or on Donald Trump in the past, saying that the power has to go back to the average New Yorkers and to bring down rent or freeze rent for those who can't afford to pay it anymore, and give free buses to the general public. So all of these are populist policies that I think have rung true with people. And I was listening to some commentators in the US today saying one of the reasons that there have been these democratic successes is that this is grassroots needs for people at a time when there is a shutdown in the US, the longest in history. We're not talking about building ballrooms and glitter and gold. We're talking about the needs of the average man and woman in the street. And that explains why, in the case of Zoran Mamdani, we've seen such a really huge rise in his success rating in such a short time.
Absolutely. And he does represent a certain kind of populism on the left. Would you say that that's the answer to what had been Donald Trump's populism on the right?
Well, that's a very difficult question to answer right now because it's unsure, and if you look back at the past, it's not certain that what we see in New York today is going to translate onto the major stage in the United States in the future, for example, the midterms, which are coming up in a year's time. So, yes, he's done well in New York, but I think in the United States, to be able to make it as a presidential candidate, you have to really move towards the center. And he is radical left, Zoran Mamdani, and that's not going to work for many in the other parts of the United States. So yes, there's been a historic rise for him to stardom, I think, with the backing of people who feel that they're being let down by the Trump administration. But if that was to play out in the rest of the United States, I don't think there's much chance right now that he would appeal to pro-Trump voters in some of the more right-wing Republican states of the US. But this is certainly a warning for Donald Trump, as we've seen from Donald Trump's reactions over the past 24 hours. And it will be interesting to see what the US president is going to say when he is going to speak in a couple of hours' time.